Welcome, friends, to Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter. We bring you the greatest female voices in the music industry, from the artists, songwriters, and producers, to managers and executives, and all the women who make the music industry what it is today. Thank you for joining us. Welcome, friends, to another episode of Crazy Women Country. I'm Donna.
And I'm Paula.
And today we have a special guest for you, Miss Lorenza Wildcard. How are you doing?
Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure, an honor to be here. Thank you.
No worries. So, tell us, who is Lorenza Wildcard?
I don't know. Who's she?
She's a mystery.
Find out.
So,
she is a mystery.
I'm a singer-songwriter and kind of a newbie, really, because I haven't started such a long time ago. I wrote a song a couple of years ago that was back in 2021. I wrote a song and it was just a way for me to put on paper what I was going through. I was going through a really difficult time, a massive heartache, and I just picked up my guitar, which, by the way, I play in what I call an experimental way because I don't know the name of the chords. I just play it by the sound that I like. I place my fingertips along the neck of the guitar. When I like the sound, I'm okay with it. And I give the chords my own names. And I never sang in front of anyone. And I just wrote a song. I wrote a song within like a couple of hours, and then I recorded it on my phone. And it was just lyrics, the melody that I created. And then I had it and I was like, what do I do with it? And then I thought I'll send it to 4 friends of mine just to share. But it was never meant for commercial use. It was just meant for me, just a way to process what I was going through at the time in my life. And then 24 hours later, I was approached by a music producer. And then weeks later, I was flown to a different country and ended up in a recording studio, recorded what is now my debut single. And then it kind of spiraled from there. And to be honest, at the very beginning, I didn't really think this was going to go far. It was more like, okay, so I'm going into a recording studio. Okay, so I have a single. I never really even thought that it was going to be ever played at in a radio station or anything like that. And then instead, it started to kind of take off, have a life of its own. And now here I am, few singles later. This year alone, I've released 4 singles, and now my music is being played at international level, and I've entered several indie charts, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I never expected any of this, and I've got a support band, a support band. I mean, seriously, I know this may sound strange, but like I'm not one of those people who would go like up on a stage and sing in front of people. I never done karaoke. I don't like standing in front of people. Like if you told me years ago, this is going to be your life in a few years' time, I would have honestly laughed and said, go check your head, because clearly you're a bit crazy. I never expected this. But I'm really enjoying it. I'm absolutely loving it. And it feels like where I'm supposed to be. And I love doing what I do, and I can't imagine it any other ways now. So yeah, I guess I'm a singer-writer now.
Wow, what an awesome story. You do know you could have been flown off to anywhere and, all sorts could have gone wrong.
Yes. And to be honest, I did evaluate many options to begin with. I was thinking, is it really going to happen to me? But,
wow.
I did everything with the best of the intentions. I've been working really, really hard on my music and trying to make it happen. So I know from the outside, it also looks like this happened quite quickly. And I think I make it look like it's all easy and fun. And it is fun. It is a lot of fun, but it's also an enormous amount of work. And I've had to learn a lot of things because I've never done this before. I've never had to, even sell myself to that kind of level. And I didn't know anything about, I used to work at MTV, but the celebrities that walk through the door of MTV are at a much higher level. So I kind of knew and understood the kind of industry, but the level I'm at, I had no idea. I didn't know even how to contact the radio stations or how do you find musicians, and it kind of just seemed to happen, and it all happened in such an organic way. And several times through this past couple of years, I thought to myself, okay, maybe this was fun, so it was a nice thing to do, maybe I should just spuck up now and be gone. But then every time I thought that, something would happen and I would find myself in the next step, and it's like, okay, no, I don't want to go because I'm really enjoying what I do and things are moving, and I just, it's just the negative voices playing games in my head, but I think I've got something and I enjoy so much that I want to carry on doing it, and things are happening. They are going the way that I want them to go. So let's stick around.
Good.
Well,
good.
that's
We're
good.
glad you're going to stick around.
Yeah, because you can definitely tell from your music, the release from the first release, you and I, up till your most recent, Wasting My Time, just the evolution in that short period, which some artists take forever just to discover those different sounds and different feelings of themselves, whether it's more rock or pop or whatever kind of vibe you want to call it. It's just amazing to see that in the short period of 2 years, basically. So it's awesome.
Donna, you're absolutely right. And I remember sitting down, because I worked with a few producers actually, but I remember the producer that I recorded You and I with, he was keen to record more, but he was also keen in recording an album and having a sound that was continuous. Whereas for me, it was like, I don't want to do that. And I remember sitting with myself and having a very deep conversation, thinking, okay, why do I want to do this? Do I want to do music to please people, to, I don't know, see if I can make money or, make a living like that? Do you, Lorenza, want to do this because you enjoy it and you want to experiment and enjoy the art that you create? And therefore, other people's expectations are not for you to worry about. And I thought, no, that's what I want to do. And then when I found this with that producer, it didn't work out for many reasons. He was also really busy. And then I found out there was a new producer. We recorded My Army together. And Piers Mortimer is this guy who works at Headline Music Studios. And we just worked so well. And when I decided to do more songs with him, we had a conversation about, again, the sound. And it was like, you do realize that you're walking away from You and I, that sound that was like such a pop ballad, and now you're talking about rock, more like there's some punkiness, some grunginess in your sound, and your voice is changing. And also now you're talking about dance music. Isn't that too much? Is this what you really want to do? And I was like, yes, because to me it's a form of expression. I don't want to be here just to use the same formula because it's safe. I really want to experiment. And at the same time, I want to be able to express what I'm going through and my feelings through music. And so that means being a little bit bolder, I guess, and really going with it. So.
That's perfect. That's perfect. I think it's great to have an artist who's got that freedom to be able to record what you want to do and in what sort of genre or what sort of mood you're in at that time. I think and it really suits. You can hear it with every song. You're enjoying it, and it's really good, and it's absolutely amazing. So yeah,
and you can also hear that the one thing that I see is the pop throughout generations has changed. So if you go back to the 80s pop, let's use Madonna or Cher, or Cher's probably even a better example, right? From like the 60s till now. She's just changed and evolved constantly to keep relevant. She's done dance music. She's, still kind of in who she is and just added those flares and things. So yeah.
Yeah. It's maybe it's a little bit crazy because I've just started and I've been told, you could alienate your fans because if they come to your show, then what do they expect? And I say, well, they'll expect my music and hopefully they'll come and enjoy it. And I don't know, so far it's been great. And I really enjoy the process. I really enjoy what I do and people seem to like it. So I think I'm going to carry on doing that.
Why not? I think you should. Definitely think you should. Definitely. I have one question for you. You have to explain this to us. I've read the explanation, but it'll be good for the fans to hear this.
Yeah.
Your name, Lorenza Wildcard. Explain that to it. There's a great explanation to it, and I absolutely love it. But it'd be good for people to actually hear it.
So it's kind of funny because when this started, I was asked, okay, so what name are you going to use? And at the time I was going through a divorce, so I didn't really want to use my name because it didn't seem right. I didn't want to use my family name because it seemed like going back and it didn't represent the person that I'd evolved into. And I was asked, why don't you just use Lorenza? The thing is, at the back of my head, I knew that if I really was going to embrace this journey, I was going to do it full-heartedly, and I was going to make music that wasn't just pop or like ballady. I think I knew it at the back of my head. And I thought, no, I want a name that really represents me. And Lorenza didn't just seem to stand with the music that I had in mind. And I wanted a full name. So I decided to choose a name that meant a lot to me. And I came across Wildcard, and I loved the meaning because in a game of cards, it's a card that can be anything you want, any color, any number, any suit. And that to me really represents moving on and evolving, adapting. But then in athletics, it means the opportunity for a team to like enter a sport competition without actually going through the qualifying games. And to me, this is so much about, like making the best of what you've got. And it's kind of funny because when I didn't really think that I was going to go anywhere, to be honest. So I used Lorenza Wildcard and I thought it's going to be fun. It means a lot to me, but I'm not going to go far. It's never even going to be played at a radio station, not even the local radio station. And then I realized that when it started to pick up, people were interested about the name, and it kind of puzzled me because some people didn't kind of like it because Lorenza Wildcard kind of jars. And it made me smile because two reasons. One, I thought, look at this. I go out of, my way to find a name for myself. And even then, it's not perfect. But I think if you wait for perfection, for the perfect thing, you're going to be waiting all your life. And I think you have to make the best of what you got. And secondly, I thought, how interesting that I went out, picked a name for myself, and my name seems to have caused such a stir. But then imagine the power that my name has if my name alone has caused so much of a stir, and I haven't even started. So, I'm like, buckle up then, people.
I love it.
Stupid, because it's like, I chose it for myself. This is my choice. And if it makes such a stir, then it must be a powerful name.
Definitely memorable.
Yes, definitely. It's not a name you can forget. It just sort of sticks with you. It really does. So yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah,
it's perfect for you. It is perfect for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, see?
So tell us, who are some of the sheroes, the women that have inspired you musically, even before you knew you wanted to do music? Who were some of your favorite women in music?
Some of my favorite women in music. So I listen to all kind of music, to be honest, and I find it really difficult when I say, oh, what is your favorite kind of music, your genre? Because I listen to pop music, to rock music, and I listen to dance music. I don't, I'm not fixated on one particular. But in terms of women, I find that there's so many amazing artists out there. And I'm really attracted by the women that are really strong and that they're bold and they manage to have such a balance between their sassiness, sexiness, but also the power and how amazing they are at empowering other people. So artists like, I love, for instance, Pink, but I love her music, but also I love what she stands for. I look at, for instance, like Taylor Swift. I think she's amazing. I love her music, but on top of the music, I find her such an inspirational woman for the way that she's, she's made this. She's become the most famous woman probably in the music industry at the moment, and she's such a businesswoman. She's so talented, and she's got such an integrity, and she's all about empowering women. And so again, I look at her and I think, so much of my hat off. But then there's tons of other ones. I love Sia. She's got an amazing, phenomenal voice. There's tons of female artists out there now. I can't think of No, I can't. But there's tons of them.
That's awesome.
I know we put you on the spot. Sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
It's always funny. You put someone on the spot, they're like, "Oh my god, what these people are!" I can't remember now.
And it's the type of thing where later on I'll be thinking, "Oh, I can't believe I haven't said that name." But there will be like so many names that will be popping up, and I was thinking, I remember even Alanis Morissette. I know that she's not so much in the music industry now; she's not doing much. But again, if I think about the type of music that she made and what she stood for, how strong and fierce, I think, wow, those are the kind of people that really inspire me and that I look up to, and I think, wow, I hope that I can be like a smidgen, at least a smidgen of what the person that you are. It's amazing.
That's awesome. They are amazing artists, and they're amazing women outside the music. So yeah, I definitely agree with that.
So tell us all about your newest release. And I know I've listened to it, Paul's listened to it. Wasting My Time. Tell our audience who may not have heard of it or may have heard of your music at all yet.
Yeah, so Wasting My Time is my latest single, and it came out on the 10th of November. And it is really nice. Basically, it's really energetic. It's very different from anything I've released so far. It's very rocky, but it's still like there's some pop in it as well. But it's super, super energetic. The melody is so catchy, and it just makes you want to bounce around, really. It's a very unapologetic song. It's very playful, and there's a certain sassiness in it. The lyrics are really witty, but also bold at the same time. And I love how they marry really well with the instruments. So like there's very energetic guitar riffs, hard-hitting drums, you got quirky violins, funky bass, and it's just really, really nice. And it's a song that is about time wasters, especially the ones in the dating scene. And it's a song that it's about acknowledging that you have these people, they may come across in your life, and you know that, but at the same time, you're kind of bemused about the amount of waste of time that they created in your life. And you want to grab the popcorns and watch it unravel a little bit more because you're bemused by that. But at the same time, you're like, my goodness, really? And then you go like, okay, well, I had a good time, but I think now it's not, so ciao, bye. And it's really unapologetic. It's really, really playful. And like I said, it's very unapologetic and rebellious, and it's really catchy. So I hope that you guys will love it. Have you guys listened to it?
I have, yeah. And I know, Donna has as well. Yeah, it's awesome. Absolutely
fantastic.
Love it.
So I get your approval. Brilliant.
if you're watching and you haven't heard it after we're done with the interview, check the links below. I'll have a link to it, I'm sure. So
you have to. You definitely have to go and listen to it. And if you listen to it and you like it, my only request is that then you go tell your friends about it and you follow, because especially as an indie artist, it's really important to have that kind of support. If you like something that an indie artist has made, just make sure that you tell your friends and make sure that you follow the artist, because that means a lot.
Yes. Perfect. I love that. Look, an artist supporting everybody else as well as yourself. That's perfect. That's what Crazy Women Country's all about. I love that. That's perfect.
That is, and collaborations here. That's exactly what we try to do.
It's interesting because if you're walking down the street and you see somebody wearing something that you like, I go and tell them. And I tell them, I saw you wearing this coat and it looks amazing on you. And I think it's such a nice thing to do. And it's a kindness thing, but at the same time, it can be so powerful and so helpful. So why not do it if you can? And it costs nothing.
Awesome. I love that. It's like that one smile, isn't it? You could give that person one smile. They could be having the worst day in the world, and you just, made it perfect for them.
Oh,
so
my
yeah,
goodness,
I love that.
Totally.
Yeah. I love that.
Absolutely. So next year we have some new music coming out. Tell us a little bit what you plan on doing for next year.
So I've been told not to say too much, to be honest.
But there's new music coming, right? So we know that much.
Right. So basically, the entire year, like when I released My Army, that was, I forgot, but it was at the beginning of the year, maybe in springtime. And I released it on a Friday. And on the following Monday, I was back in studio to record more music. And when I started to get a lot of interviews for My Army, at the back of my head, I was like, yeah, My Army is amazing, but I have all this other music coming out. But I couldn't. So it's like you want to say more, but at the same time, you have to pace it.
Oh, yeah.
But there's definitely more music coming out in the new year. In fact, there's more music coming out very likely in January. So you'll definitely hear more from me, and I think again you'll be surprised because there's going to be a certain evolution, which is something that I wanted to do. With every release that I've done, they were really calculated in the sense that I wanted there's always been a wish for me to take my fans with me in my journey. So when I released You and I, afterwards I was thinking, okay, out of the songs that I have, I think My Army is the next one, because My Army is about it's a next transition between a pop ballad and the more rocky, bluesy songs that I produced later on. And also was about telling a narrative from You and I being wounded and in a dark place to coming back afloat. Like I say in the song, I'm better now, I'm coming through, and from the ashes I got my army. And so it's kind of taking my fans on a journey with me. With the new releases coming out next year, there's going to be other sides of me that you will see. But I think for me this year has been a lot about going into the studio, in and out of studio, making music and pushing out songs, because I wanted people to know what I was capable of, and I wanted them to have an idea of the sound and genre that would represent me. Next year, I would like to be back in studio, which I plan on doing, but I would like to spend more time actually gigging and actually meeting the people that are my fans and going and perform, which I haven't done so much this year, which is a shame, but there's only so much you can do. And I think for me, this year's been a lot of being into the studio, and next year I would like to be into the studio, but be more out. And I would love to do gigs, and I would love to do festivals. So that's my plan for next year.
Awesome. You heard it here first, guys.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
All right. Well, we'll make sure we have all of your social links so they can all follow you on your platforms and things like that. And it's been a pleasure having you on for the interview today.
On every single social media platform. So, and with a name like mine, Lorenza Wildcard, it's not going to be difficult to find me.
No.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you, friends, for joining us for another episode. We'll see y'all soon.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
It's been great. Thank you.
If you enjoyed today's episode of Crazy Women Country, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Be sure to click the subscribe button for new interviews weekly. And thank you, friends, for joining us today on Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter.